I once was a dog. Hold on to that idea for a moment. There are a couple things that I'd like you to hold on to while I explain my speech to you. First is that I was not always a dog, as you can probably guess, and my transition to becoming a dog happened rather abruptly, and it was probably as much a surprise to me as it is to you now. The other thing I'd like you to hold on to is that becoming a dog was one of the easiest things that ever happened to me. But transitioning back to my former self has been and is going to be one of the most difficult. So my story starts with me in second grade. Up until this point in my life, I wasn't a shy kid. I was actually the opposite. I loved being in front of people, doing little performances, like the really annoying 7-year-old that most of you probably know now. And like most 7-year-olds, the idea of public humiliation hadn't really set in yet, so I wasn't afraid of it. So in second grade, there were 2 plays that we were doing in my class. And this didn't really bother me because I wasn't afraid. The plays in my second grade class weren't just like in front of your parents. They were in front of all the older kids, every other kid at the school, and then they'd send out a newsletter to pretty much the whole town in case anybody wanted to watch a 7-year-old bumble around to make themselves feel better. So pretty much everyone in town showed up. And the first one was around Thanksgiving. I was pilgrim number 1. I had the most lines of all the pilgrims. Ooh. And I was really, really excited and I was really proud. And it went really well. And then the second play came around and things changed a little bit. So for those of you that don't know already, Aesop's Fables is pretty much just a series of songs and poems acted out through animals that are supposed to encompass some sort of moral principle. And everyone in my second grade class wanted the same part in the play, except me. This part was of the dog. The dog had the only solo role in the entire play, and you had to sing a song in front of the whole school by yourself. I wasn't particularly scared of this, but unlike the rest of the second graders, I was a little bit more self-aware, and I knew that I wasn't a good singer. So the teacher calls us all into class after recess, and she says, okay, I'm going to read off the parts, and if you want that part, raise your hand. So the first part she reads off is the dog. I kid you not, every kid in this class raises their hand, except me. And because I didn't raise my hand, she looks to me and goes, Sarah, why don't you want to be the dog? And I said, I just don't really think this is my moment. I think I'm going to try and be pebble number 4, and I'll just bounce up and down as a rock. And this seemed like a really good idea, but because I said that, she says, I think that you should be the dog, thinking that there was some poetic justice in that. So the day of the play comes around, and I'm not terrified because public humiliation, not really a thing yet. But I get up in front of the whole school, and I can't sing. So I'm standing there, and I'm wearing this little hat with a bill, and there's a tongue hanging off the bill, like a dog wagging its tongue, and there's floppy ears, and then I have a tail. And I pretty much have to play a dog with an identity complex that lost its D in the first letter of its name. So I'm standing there and I'm singing, and I thought I did pretty good. I made it through the whole song. And then I walk off stage, and my teacher's standing there, and she goes, Sarah, you need to sing louder. Nobody can hear you, and I really want them to be able to hear this song. And I'm like, well, but I'm singing by myself. Maybe if the other kids would join me, they could hear me. And she says, no, you need to sing louder, and if you don't sing louder, I'm going to walk out there in front of the whole school, and I'm going to pull you off that stage. She's the devil. She really is. I still don't like her to this day. And the second set comes along, and I walk out there, and here I am as a dog with my identity complex. And I get about 10 seconds into the song, and I'm singing, and I think I'm doing good. And I look over, and she's standing there, shaking her head behind the curtain. And about 5 seconds after that, I'm singing at the top of my lungs. I'm screaming this song. And I look over, she's still shaking her head. So I'm screaming as loud as I can, and then tears start pouring down my face. So I'm sobbing, crying in front of like 500 people, screaming about how I lost my D. For the most part, after this, people were pretty supportive, just in the sense that nobody ever talked about it again, except for this one kid. His name was Jonathan Trumbull. We still don't get along. And he was a couple years older than me, and he came up to me after the play, found me at recess, and he said, "You cried like a little baby." And for the rest of elementary school, and still when I see him to this day, he calls me little baby. For 5 years after this, it would make me cry. And that would only reinforce him telling me that I was a little baby, which was perfect. And as a response to this, my sister would find him and she'd beat him up, and as you can guess, the moral of my story is not that violence isn't the answer, because it made me feel a lot better to see him get beat up. So pretty much I went through my life really afraid of putting myself out there. I didn't want to risk public humiliation, and I didn't want to be called a baby again. I didn't want people to be able to judge me. And I went on like this for probably over a decade, till a few months ago when I got to Pepperdine, and I went up to pick up my schedule at One Stop, and I said, "There's been a terrible mistake. I am not in a public speaking class this semester." And they said, "I'm really sorry, Miss Galetti, but this is a requirement. Everyone has to do it." So as a response, I went to my mom and I said, "Mom, college isn't for me. We're not doing this. Let's just pack up. We're going home. This really isn't happening." And she said, "I already paid for it. You're going." So every day I walk in this door and I have to remind myself that you are not my second grade teacher, all of you are not Jonathan Trumbull, and I am not a dog. And because of that, I'm able to conquer these speeches and stand up here and do exactly what I'm doing right now. So every day I walk in here and I strive to repossess the qualities that I had as a child, because those are parts that I really miss about myself. And every day I walk in here and I ask myself the same question that I want all of you to ask yourselves. Does the fear of being a dog really triumph the love that you have for yourself and the personality that you want to convey to everyone else? Thank you.